So let me just put this here. So this is basically what that video does. So that video was produced in 2017 on my birthday. At the time, it says. Those were the spiritual wickednesses that I recognized at the time. And what I didn't really delineate on why it's so important or what the problem is, but because I actually just watched the video and for the in its entirety yesterday after I asked you to watch it. And so the thing that I was missing is that I didn't tell people why it was such a calamity. The reason those 7 great spiritual wickednesses are such a calamity is because they cause us to fail to do things that if we were not under the influence of those wickedness, it's only, there's no S. I learned that. Excuse me. If we were not under the influence of those wickedness, we would be able to accomplish very easily. For example, other places in the world were easily able to deal with the COVID crisis. However, because of us being under spiritual wickedness in high places, the ones that cause us to see each other as different peoples as the others, and the ones of blind greed predominantly, and then obstinance towards the truth, those 3 are the predominant ones that are causing this problem, because the solution to COVID is simple. I can just delineate it in every way. So the first one is how to create a green zone. Basically, you create a green zone by essentially having a place where you make sure that everybody has the antibodies. You don't even need to check for the virus. You just need to check for the antibodies. Anyone with the antibodies doesn't have the virus, theoretically. But you can also check for the virus. You can double check them. And then, the antibody tests kind of suck. Well, you can essentially find the right combination of antibody tests or just produce a stronger antibody test. And then essentially you have a green zone where everybody inside of this town is green, and then that place can operate as normal. Or if you have something like a city, then essentially you can't have just a green zone, right? Because people have to move in and out of stuff. So you can have green people. So essentially like a green jacket or even a green armband with a QR code on it. So this QR code would be attached to some central database through like a phone app or something like that, where anybody can come up to you and they can, maybe from a safe distance, put your QR code into the system, and then they can see that your QR code matches the face of the person who's claiming that they're clear, right? So that a clear person, once again, is a person who doesn't have the virus and has the antibodies, right? So that means that person's safe. So for all intents and purposes, as long as that person doesn't touch anything, they should not be a concern for having the virus, right? They could have it by just touching something, and they could be carrying it on their person, but not in their body. And so that way, essentially, we need to test. We absolutely, positively need to test. It's very important. But once we test people, we don't need to test people with antibodies, because I'm pretty certain, not 100%, but I'm pretty certain that a person who gets COVID-19 can't get it again, but that's something that we can prove through lab tests, of course, because science. And I think it's worth the risk of somebody's health, honestly, to prove that people who can't get COVID-19 twice, but I'm pretty certain that can't happen. Okay, that's how you deal with the virus on just pretty much anywhere. But the places that you need to focus on, so COVID viruses, I'm pretty sure, pass through highly traffic areas, so nodes. So basically, the reason that New York has the worst case load in America is because it has the best public transit system, and the best public transit system, and it has the most dense population. So dense population plus highly utilized transportation system equals super breeding ground for COVID. The less of those two things on each axis is essentially how there's less things, right? So of course in rural areas there's less people there, plus each individual place is less trafficked, and that's why it doesn't pass around as much, because fundamentally COVID has a half-life that's not very long on certain surfaces, and we already know all of those things. And by the way, the things that I'm saying with certainty are easily able to be verified by using statistics, which we currently have, as long as those statistics are legitimate. Okay, now let's see. Masks. So the thing about masks is that if you're a person who is susceptible to COVID, which I know why people are susceptible to COVID, but I won't go into that in this video because that's too far-fetched for people to believe. So I'll say that anybody who is not clear, I rather describe what clear means, should probably be wearing a mask most places. Honestly, I think that I'm clear because I think that I've caught COVID, but I don't have the antibody test to prove it, which means I need to go find an antibody test. But anyway, point of the matter is, for people who aren't cleared, confirmed cleared, they should probably be wearing a mask in most situations, right? But we can barely get enough masks to those people. The demand on masks is starting to drop because we're starting to catch up. But we should have been able to do this like in January. This is America. We put a person on the moon. Like, we did a whole bunch of stuff that's way more complicated than producing masks. But because of spiritual wickedness in high places, we're having such a difficulty at being the greatest nation on earth, and it's outrageous. That being said, masks are super cool. But honestly, the reason I don't usually wear one, I only wear one where people have requirements, because honestly, I'm pretty sure I've already gotten it and all it gave me was a stomach ache. And also, I am not concerned with health risks for myself. However, I should be concerned about passing the virus around to other people. But I've been recently tested for COVID. So, like, I was tested like less than 2 weeks ago, and I was negative. And I'm pretty sure if I get tested for the antibodies, I'll have it. But it hasn't been confirmed yet. Let's see. I think that covers all the biological things related to the coverage of the COVID crisis. However, we need to deal with our SWIP, or enough people who aren't suffering from spiritual wickedness in high places need to band together to solve these problems using science, because science is awesome. But at the same time, we need to manage economics. So that brings me to the economics. So what do we need to do for the economics? Well, it's very simple. We need to bring back apprenticeship, opportunity, and bartering. So apprenticeship is basically saying that instead of hiring the highest quality person to do every single thing, we're going to hire people who have the ability to eventually start doing said thing, and then pay them less because they're an apprentice. And so we pay people to learn. We don't pay people to learn. That's outrageous. We pay people while they're learning, and we pay them less while they're learning, and we have them do more mundane tasks that professionals shouldn't need to do. That's an apprenticeship, and it'll save a lot of money because fundamentally, there's certain things as a software engineer I just don't need to do, and that somebody who's a lower level can do, and that goes for most professionals. So they can just pay an apprentice to do these things, and in the meanwhile, they can offer mentorship services or other type of services that they could even charge for, and then bring that person up to speed, and then they can eventually reach the level of their person who's training them, and maybe even further if they study outside of the game. Next, I said apprenticeship, internships are great, but this is kind of like the same thing. I think I said something else, but I forgot it, but I'll mention bartering. So basically, people can make, I've been referring to as uno vas and uno mas, but that's not necessary. They can just call it bartering. Basically, my time for your time, we have a rate. So I have a rate, you have a rate. We can have that exchange rate. And so, for example, let's say theoretically I'm dealing with someone junior, so they have $20 an hour, and I have $40 an hour. So 2 hours of their work for me is equivalent to 1 hour of my work for them. Let's say I'm tutoring them, and let's say they're doing whatever task I need them to do. Right, so if they do 2 hours of work for me and I do tutor them for 1, we're even, right? And you can do the math any way other, right? If I do 2 hours of work for them, they owe me $40, right? Because my rate is actually like 50, but I'm doing 40 for their sake, right? And so that's bartering. That's bartering with the option of using cash. And then I said a third thing, but I can't think of it right now. Bartering. Oh yeah. and also just hiring people, creating opportunity. So the thing is, it's just like fundamentally, if I need some work to get done, um, I'm not hiring you as a charity. I'm hiring you because I can make money off of you. And the thing is, the type of people you can make money off of is literally almost anyone. So there's a few people that are just really, truly useless, but there's not many people. Even a lot of people on disability shouldn't be on disability. They should just have a job that's not affected by their disability. Um, and so, for example, I know a female who has Crohn's disease, and that's not a good thing to have, but that doesn't prevent her from being a productive member of society. It's just a label, and a sickness that doesn't affect her if she's working from home, especially. And so, work from home is also a really cool thing that should be useful, super useful. I won't even go into details on that. That's just obvious. It's too obvious. Then, let's see. So, basically, this is how it works. And I don't have all my diagrams and stuff like that. I'll do that for the full presentation. But essentially, when you have a person who creates an opportunity, that's the creation of wealth. Because there's a wealth of opportunity, and then whoever you're hiring them not because you're super benevolent and you just want to help people. You're helping them because paying people to do stuff for you makes you money. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't be paying them. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's a matter of giving. God loves a cheerful giver. That's super cool, right? So if giving is your heart, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying giving your way out of a poverty is not going to work, or even saying that, oh, the rich people should pay more of a fair share. Yeah, they probably should, but that's not. But taking money from the rich to give to the poor is not going to. It's not going to solve the problem. That's just robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? You're supposed to, that's not a transfer of wealth. That's a transfer of money, and money is not the problem here. It's wealth, the wealth of opportunity. And so when you have the creation of wealth is when you create an opportunity. The destruction of wealth is when you destroy an opportunity. But land, how do you destroy an opportunity? Well, let's say you have a big corporation and they come into an area and then they essentially choke out the business through business intelligence and business tactics. And there are a lot of them that I won't delineate, but one of them that I will is essentially just like, coming in, being lowering prices to where it's not profitable anymore. You glad handing with like city officials and things like that to get benefits and basically cheat. Those type of things are destroy opportunity. And then you make an operation that seems more efficient, but it's actually destroying opportunity and negative for the economy. Because eventually, once things settle out, the city is going to end up losing money because fundamentally, when there's more opportunity, more money is generated. Not generated, but yeah, more value is generated, which is wealth. But then land, where's the money going to come from? Well, that's the government's job. The government's job is to print money. So the thing is, imagine if all the poor people had jobs. Well, they need money. Well, where's the money going to come from? Well, it's going to come from the government. They're going to print it. Well, why are they going to print it? Because if they don't print it, there's going to be an obscene amount of inflation. Because basically, right now, our society is balanced on it's balanced on the needs of the people who serve the 1%. So let me say that again. The economy is currently balanced on the needs of the people who serve the 1%, which would be professionals such as myself. So basically anything like a professional like myself really needs, that's taken care of by society. But anything like, let's say, the people who are serving me need are not taken care of. So they're going without. But the thing is, they have to go with some of these things. They're very important. So who pays for these? Well, I do. Because I'm paying for them through taxes, right? So taxes pay for government programs and all that type of stuff. And before I go any further, I want to make it very clear that I am not looking down on people who you receive government services, because I've received many government services. And so I'm happy that those things exist. If those things didn't exist, our country would go into absolute chaos. But a better solution than government services is literally giving jobs to the people who are receiving government services, because it solves 2 or 3 or maybe a million, I don't know, problems by doing that. So let's take, for example, you take a guy who's actually working right now, and he's currently receiving government services because he works for a corporation that's so evil that they make their employees use government services to survive, meaning that they're not making enough money to be able to survive in the locality where they work, which is outrageous. But let it be for now, because you can't enforce, you can't do the thing that people are trying to do, which is enforce. I mean, you can legally enforce it, but it's very difficult, right? That's not how you fix the problem. And enforce price or payment price or employee wages. You can't enforce employee wages. You can, but it's very difficult. A much better way to deal with this. But first, let's go to this problem, right? So basically, the guy who's working at said corporation does not make enough money to live. So he's basically relying on government services to take care of his needs. But that's a plan of some large corporations. Like, they just plan for their employees to use government services because they're, I will not be profane, but they are a certain type of leech that is absolutely disgusting, and they should change their ways. Or companies that are not their ways will arise and take their employees, not by force, but by opportunity. And so now let's talk about how we fix this. You simply create an opportunity that's better. And you say, well, I'm paying, I don't know, double what they're paying you. I'm paying you enough to live like a real person because your life matters. And so your life matters to me because I'm the greediest. They think they're greedy. No. I'm the greediest. I want you to work for me because I want to get more money out of you than they are currently getting. And I want you to do something to the pinnacle of your ability because I'm the greediest. They're blindly greedy. I'm the greediest. I want to make sure that every person that I can get my hands on works for me so I can make the most amount of money, because I don't want to make $100 off of 10 people. I want to make like $1 off of a billion people. I want to be a trillionaire. And so the thing is, that's why I'm the greediest, because I'm willing to cut down the amount of money that I make. And those numbers aren't precisely accurate, right? But I'm willing to cut down the amount of money that I make per person to serve more people. Well, Len, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. This is 2020. We have technology. And so technology allows us to simplify the process of hiring people. And that's literally my job. Well, not this time around. My job is payment processing, but my job is to simplify processes as a software engineer. That's the people I work for. And so, but my abilities as a computer engineer who's never engineered a computer, I engineer processes. And so I'm going to make it really simple to come work for me. And I'm going to make it really simple to come do work for me because I want all the monies. I want it all. And if you want to stop me, that's super cool, awesome. Stop me. You have like 2 ways to stop me. One of them is violence, and I don't recommend it. I recommend just changing your ways and being more efficient. And if you want to look, I want all the monies, but I'm a reasonable guy, right? I don't need to have a monopoly on everything. That's outrageous. However, if you want to come in and do what I'm doing and save me the time of not having to do it, then super cool, because I'm also the laziest. I don't want to do anything. But the thing is, I have to do things because I can't tolerate people suffering around me because it's a tick. So what I am proposing is that if somebody wants to change their ways and become a super cool, awesome corporation, I'll literally give them all my technique. I'll even come consult for you. And I might even do it for a reduced rate just so I don't have to deal with your people, because I don't want to have to take your people from you. However, I will if you don't treat them right. Because those people will literally look at you, look at me, and say, I want to work with that guy. But Lan, you don't have all the monies yet. That's funny. I don't need money. I have wealth. My name is wealth. My name is literally Larry Waju. My wealth is the future. My wealth is moving forward. And trust me, the money will follow me because I'm a Lasaki. There's no such thing in the world as a poor Lasaki. I am not poor, not even the slightest. I may be short on cash right now, but I get paid. Um, and I'm cash on hand. I still have money, right? Plus, anyway, there's no such thing as a poor Lasaki. Look us up. That being said, I don't have to be the guy who hires everyone, right? There could be some benevolent, super nice, local person who wants to do the thing that I'm going to do. Why should I do the thing that they can do and I don't have to do it because I'm the laziest? I want you to do it. I want you to be the guy who hires the people and I'll just come consult for you. I might even do it for free if I really dislike your competition, right? And so that's what's up. Um, so that solves all the economic problems because fundamentally, once you start optimizing work, like there's a lot of people who do not need to go to a place to work. There's a lot of people who do need to go to a place to work. And those people should live close to the place that they work because why should you be commuting all over the city to do a job that you should just be near? That's ridiculous. Oh, because the prices are too high, right? Well, yeah. How about we start averaging out the prices of where people live by turning the ghettos into like nice places to live? Well, land, how do you do that? Well, that's really simple. What did they do in the nice places? They invested land. Well, why did they invest? Because of the location. No, because when they got there, there was nothing there. Well, locations have this, that, and the other. It's super cool. Yeah, but people live everywhere. And so the thing is, well, why don't we just make the places that aren't nice nice? Super cool. So instead of having people commute from a poor people place to a rich people place to go serve the rich people, how about you just stay where you are and set up an operation there that does the thing that needs to get done for your people locally, or you could just move to the place because now you're making enough money to live in the place that you work. I like that idea. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. So let's see, where am I? Right. So people commute much less. But also, there's a lot of people who do business behind the scene tasks who really shouldn't be commuting, like myself. See, the thing is that I'm a software engineer. I work on a computer. And so the video can't see my setup, but essentially, I wish I had a mirror to show you, but essentially I can just point, that's my personal computer. Oh, look, this is a docking station for where I put my business computer or my or my job computer. Um, yeah, I have a station set up and I can work. In fact, this is my business phone's location and this is my job phone's location. They're all separate because, of course, they are. But my point is, like, all I need is this little station and an internet connection to do my job. And my phone that my job gave me, and my computer, of course, because they gave me a computer. Because why would they want a computer engineer to work without giving me a computer? That's ridiculous. Excuse me. Yeah. So there's very few reasons that I would actually ever need to go into an office unless somebody has to keep an eye on me or there's some like super duper important thing that I physically need to be there for, which is pretty unlikely. I'm a software engineer. I write code. I make words on computers to do things. I don't need to be there in person. And this COVID crisis has proven that. Even in my but Lan, what about all the time he's wasting slacking off? Well, the thing is, truth be told, most engineers are slacking off regardless of when they're in the office or not. But the fact is that if you don't have them in the office, they can just privately slack off and then work whenever they want, right? Because the thing is, like for example, on a certain day, I worked from 10. Well, I worked all day, but I'm talking about in regards to for my job, I did like a from 10 till 12, 10 midnight. And so I did a week's worth of work in one day, not to brag about it, but to say that, like, yeah, when I break into a fever, I break into it like, whoa, it's super fast. And so the thing is that, but sometimes the point of this statement is sometimes I want to do all of my work at one time and then I want to do no work. Well, that doesn't matter because my work is not based on how many hours. I'm not an hourly employee. I don't get paid by the work I do per hour. I get paid salaried. I get paid to accomplish a task by a certain date. And a lot of professionals are like this, right? where we get paid. They don't care when we do it. They just need to make sure that we hit certain milestones. Well, we can hit certain milestones and be sleeping on the job, right? As opposed to somebody who actually does something physical where they're sleeping on the job is losing the company money. I can work on the weekends. I can wake up at 3 in the morning and just feel like, man, I just want to get some work done. Start working, right? What does it matter to them? And so that's the point. You can delineate people's jobs based on their, or the time that they work based on their skill set and based on what they're doing, right? I'm a special case of a software engineer, right? I've seen my coworkers working on the weekends too, and it's not a big deal. It's because it's my time, right? The time is mine. The effort that you need produced by a certain time is yours, right? So as long as I produce the effort on time, it should be fine, right? But what about meetings and stuff like that? Zoom. Do I even need to go anymore? Zoom, Slack, and all of these type of things can be taken care of by technology. There's a gajillion, facillion, benillion, making up numbers, amount of solutions out there. And if the solutions don't exist, we'll just create them. You know why? Because we're software engineers. That's our job. And so the thing is that we can even make better solutions than what exists now because, once again, we're software engineers. However, there's not enough of us. And I won't go into the whole software engineer dilemma right here. But my point of the matter is that's basically the solution to the economic crisis. Because once we take care of the COVID things and then we take care of the economic crisis, we have no crisis no more. However, and I will get off of my, I'll get serious now. However, if we don't solve this crisis by my birthday, my birthday is November 8th. My birthday is the presidential election day. This is a very serious warning that warrants a change of tone and focus. There are people. Look, number one, this is not a threat. I am not threatening anyone. I don't threaten people. I'm simply informing people who may not be aware. There is two sides. For all intents and purposes, I will refer to them as white power and black power. And white power doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in there is white. There could be some people of any ethnicity. Black power doesn't mean the same thing, right? They're just people who are kind of the white, black, right, left, those type of dichotomies, power people, where they're like, we gotta fight if we don't get what we want. And these people are arming themselves right now. And if you don't know this, I am telling you. I am not affiliated with either of these sides because fundamentally, I'm an American because I was born in America. And I treat my brothers, I love my brothers and sisters no matter, even if they are white or black power, regardless of ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation. I don't care. I love you for the sake of loving you because I love you like the Lord. At least to the best of my ability. I will not cry because this is very important. There are people who do not love their neighbors as themselves, but they have feelings that there is an other. And those people are looking at the other and saying, you're the problem, and they're arming themselves as we speak. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anything I say for my face value. Do your own research. You will find that my words are absolutely verifiable. You can verify them completely independent of me. I assure you. Don't believe me about the arming themselves things? Go to your local gun store and take a look at the guns that are there. You will see that they seem a bit sparse, and they seem not of the quality that you might expect from a gun store that has a lot of guns. Because people are buying guns because they see the other and they're ready to shoot, and they're probably going to start shooting almost certainly on my birthday if Trump loses the election. God help us all. And the calamity that I was talking about in my previous video was this. If Donald Trump loses the presidential election, God help us all. That's because if he wins, no big deal, right? Because the thing is, if he wins, he'll win hopefully because I'm helping him. And so I can expand his base to people who are really, there's a lot of people who really, really don't like Donald Trump. I just don't like some of the things he does. Um, because the techniques that he's using are not quite the best. There could be better techniques, but I understand them and I respect them. I respect the president. Um, but if he wins with my help or with the help of, if he wins in a plurality, everything's good, right? If he's able to, get people to come to his side and that super stuff. So the question was, what if he wins, right? You might not have heard that because you can't. I'm talking to the video. The video can't hear. If he wins, we're gonna be fine because the people who on our side are on the quote unquote liberal side are less likely to pick up arms than honestly the other side. But if the random killings of people of color continue, they might even pick up arms before that. So that's the warning. And notice how I said they and not I, because I'm not one of those people. I am not a person who uses violence to solve things, even though I'm a trained martial artist. I use logic and proper dealings because I play the role of a chief, and also I'm the Watchman. I keep the watch. And all of you are my people, and I don't want you to die. I don't want you to kill each other either. That's why I'm trying to make peace. By telling you exactly what you need to do, or not exactly what you need to do, but simple methods that you can do to stop Civil War II. And it's gonna start literally on my birthday for the reason I've delineated, because my birthday is the presidential election. Yeah, it's a pretty okay birthday. I mean, it kind of gets overshadowed a lot, but it's a thing. By the way, I'm pretty sure another president. Oh yeah, he got elected. Trump got elected last time on my birthday. I was actually really terrified then. I'm not gonna lie, but I was presently pleasantly surprised. Yeah, we're doing a lot better than I thought we were. But I knew nothing. Now I know more, and yeah. That's basically everything I wanted to tell you. I did not leave enough time for you to speak. I apologize. But this kind of turned into my second report. So, hey, this is my second report. This is an update to my previous report. I went into a little bit more detail here, explaining why my